figure out why this world's so jacked up and seems to be organized by a bunch of uneducated humans that don't really know what's going on. And the reason is, it's because this world's organized by a bunch of uneducated humans that aren't accessing the full instinctive ability of their mind as God intended, and they're making decisions for everybody. And now, I wrote these 3 books or whatever, but this is all I care about. Out of my 3 books, I only care about the instinctive path that leads to knowledge. You know what I mean? And like this is the last book I wrote. It's on Amazon. Before that, I wrote this book. It's on Amazon also. It's got some good stuff about the growth of the soul. The soul stuff in there is a little good. And it does have a little bit of delusional stuff in it because it is about religion, and I tried my hardest just to explain how stuff works, but I did get a little delusional. It's fine though. This one's got some equations. I like equations because they're the most simplest way to look at something or whatever. And then this one I worked on basically over a decade. I had to give up. I kept rewriting this one and adding stuff and taking stuff out. And like you see these equations, they're yeah, I know they're backwards, but that's just how I put things in. It's easier for me to write when I was writing this book. It was easier for me to write the equations backwards because there's an equal sign, so it doesn't really matter which way you put them anyway. But like these equations, I kept some of them, and I changed the wording a little bit on my latest ones. Like this one's kind of delusional, so I kind of got rid of that and changed that to the evolution one. Got rid of those. Whatever. But anyways, out of all those 3 books, this is what I was looking for. You know what I mean? The instinctive path of the human mind that leads to all forms of knowledge. And as we are today, most humans, it is an instinctive path that leads to knowledge, so not everybody is dumb and uneducated. But the vast majority of people on this planet, they're not utilizing the full instinctive ability of their minds. And that's why I say uneducated. Yes, maybe they have a degree from an 8-year degree or whatever, It doesn't matter. I don't care that people can memorize facts and put them in your head. You're like, oh, this means this means this, this means this. At the same time, they lack understandings as to, why that's true. They just know that it's true, They have faith that it's true. And the simple fact of the matter is, when you have faith in something that is true, it might not be true. In a lot of cases, that is the case. In a lot of realms of thought, people's faith in what they've been taught, it's just not true because they don't understand it. And they never will because it's not true. But in any case, yeah, this is my plan to fix humanity. Not overnight, of course, but within a generation or 2. I should be dead by the time it's fixed, but the path that leads to knowledge is more important than the knowledge. You know what I mean? Like, simply put, like, religion, that's the big one right now, because religious thought has infiltrated our government in all forms. And simply put, think of it like this. When Biden went against his Catholic moral beliefs to support people's right to have abortions or not, well, basically women's right to have abortion or not, all the religious people got mad. They're like, I can't believe Biden went against his religious beliefs and was for people choosing whatever they want to do. You know what I mean? And the simple fact that religious people got mad because their religious thoughts were not, enforced, lets us know there is no separation of church and state. But anyway, so yeah, that's the big problem in this world today is just a lack of education. And simply put, life has been on this planet for 4 billion years, and 300,000 years of that, us humans have existed. We existed, we survived and thrived, for 300,000 years before civilization happened. And we were all naturally instinctive. We had that instinctive education that nature provides to all life, including humans. So all these humans, they knew who God was. They had the thought of God. They understand stuff about God. They knew about philosophy. They knew about science even, They knew how to create things. They knew how to build shelter. They knew how to eat food. They knew how to prepare food all kinds of different ways. They knew how to find food. You know what I mean? We had this, because they had this naturally strengthened mind because they observed they gained all the understandings that, God placed in their creation, naturally, But now that we're civilized, we don't have that. Like, for instance, me now. I'm in this box, I can't see the sky. There's no river in sight. There's no deer walking by, I don't even see a stone anywhere. Nothing, There's not even dirt in here. But there is air. Some of what stuff God created is in here. The air, I guess. The water out of the tap. But anyways, people lack the education, the instinctive education that God, placed on here for all life. And I think that's the biggest problem in the world today is we've just become stupid with our education system has made us stupid. It doesn't seem like it would make sense. Why would education make it stupid? But when you write a bunch of books and these people just read these books and they memorize what's in these books and they don't understand what's in the books, that's why I say that's why America lacks innovation. There's no more discoveries anymore. There's no more innovation. You know what I mean? We're just not figuring shit out anymore. All we're figuring out is what we can memorize because we don't understand shit no more. Our education doesn't teach people to understand. Anyways, that's my plan to fix the world. 7 simple equations. You. Anyways, simply put, the most important part of these equations it's a path to knowing who God is and being able to speak God's name, which is a conscious thought because they're an element of consciousness that existed forever. So their name that they had is still the same as it is now, and their name is, you say their name with your consciousness, it's a conscious thought of who they are, Anyway, when someone comes to know God and they gain God's wisdom and all this stuff, that's all that matters. Whatever path in life they're going to do, anybody that is educated in the Word of God will make the right decision. That's just the way it is. So, learn how to say God's name. Here's the way to do it. If you don't want to say God's name and you don't believe in God, that's fine. Just to gain the understandings, on this planet. Because, hey, once you gain all those understandings, you believe in God anyways, I can't convince you to believe in God, but, once you have all those understandings, you're like, oh, yeah, I understand now. You know what I mean? But in any case, yeah, a lot of things don't matter in this world. A lot of things people think matters don't really matter. You know what I mean? Your wealth doesn't matter. Your power doesn't matter. All the shit you own doesn't matter. The size of your fence around your property doesn't matter. A lot of things don't matter. Family matters. The growth of your soul matters. Basically all life matters too. Not doing jacked up shit matters, because your soul's growing. Different things matter. But a lot of shit doesn't matter. We're taught that it matters, but it doesn't. It really doesn't. In any case, educate yourself the way God intended. Read from the Word of God. That's all I got to say, I feel that by teaching how to read from the Word of God, you know what I mean? God's creation, how to naturally strengthen your mind. If enough people do that, the problems of this world will fix themselves. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You understand yet? Yep, my work's done, I guess. Because the simple fact that I explained how the instinctive ability of the human mind, I basically solved everybody's problem. It'll just take time. Education doesn't come quick, I'm 42. Took me 2 years to be able to say God's name, And depending on where you are at in life and the types of, God's teachings that you already have, because everybody gains God's teachings because we're all alive on this planet and we observe stuff, so we gain the teachings, you know what I mean? But maybe you've lived in the wilderness your whole life, You might just need a little bit more studies, ask the right questions, and you can say God's name. Or maybe you lived in a box your whole life. You might need a good decade before you can say God's name. Or maybe even another 40 years, you know what I mean? Or maybe never. Maybe you'll never reach that point. In any case, learn how to say God's name. Experience that spiritual growth spurt. That's what it's all about. Because, hey, God created us for a reason, you know? The least you can do is learn to say their name.